Good evening, Phoenix. Good evening, Phoenix. Are you ready for some roller derby? Well, it sure didn't sound like it, so I'm going to give you all another crack at that. Are you ready for some roller derby? Welcome to the Hall of Dames. The Arizona Derby Dames are the only league offering you fast-paced bank track roller derby in Arizona. I am Old Greg.
And I'm Kills Bill. Tonight we have another doubleheader. First game of the night will be your defending champions, the Runaway Brides, versus the Schoolyard Scrappers. Game 2 tonight will feature the Coffin Draggers and the Doomsday Valkyries. Both games are going to be exciting, but some ground rules first. Please, no whistling as it interrupts the games. Also keep in mind, when in line for the bathroom, the skaters take priority. And finally, for the safety of our skaters and for yourself, please keep your body parts outside of the track. Keep your hands and feet outside of this ride as we get started. And then we're going to go on to...
It looks like we'll be getting ready to get underway here shortly. The regulators will be checking the teams for safety. Can I get a cheer from the crowd? Who all was here for Chingadera last month? That was a heck of a time, wasn't it? I'm still sleeping. All right, with that whistle, teams will be going into the safety checks. And while they're doing that, we would like to introduce you to the one team we literally could not do this without. That would be our regulators. Starting off, game executioner for this first bout tonight, Freya Hugs.
Jam referee is Hoover Slam.
Jam referee, Merrill Streak.
The backpack referee is Infidel Castro.
Outside pack referee, Ref Boyardee.
Outside pack referee, Daddy Mike.
Penalty tracker, Scully Glossbones.
Penalty tracker assist is Professor McGonagall.
Penalty box admin, Optical Delusion.
Penalty box admin, Whomping Willow.
On whiteboard is Pocket Change.
High in the sky is Lucifer.
Eye in the sky, Racy Tracy.
Scoreboard is Bender B. Rodriguez.
And on stats, it's Panic Attack.
At the front pack referee, your regulators co-captain, Stabitha Christie.
And your captain of the regulators as head referee, Lollipop.
Show some love for your regulators. It may be the only love they get all night. course.
All right, fans, we'd like to direct your attention up to the video screen. I'd like to show you a video from a recent tryout session we had for the Derby names. All right, fans, let's get this show on the road and introduce you to the teams that will be competing here in our first bout of the evening. Taking the track your Runaway Brides. Skating tonight for the Brides, number 772, Alan Ilecha. Number 501, Anita Margarita. Number 3, Goldie Blocks. Number 623, Hollywood. Number 100, Cryptic Callie. Number size 9, La Chancla. Number 95, Lightning the Queen. Number 113, Luxbreaker. Number 192, Milani Mangler. Number 213, Militia. Number 1221, Pretty Please. Number 2115, Watermelon. Number 00, your co-captain, Novocaine. Number 1, your captain of the Brides, Ellie Mayhem. Helping the team on the bench tonight, our bench coach, Karma Knoxside, and penalty manager, Troy McClure. Not skating tonight, number 13, Little Bo Reap. Number 7813, Lumbre de la Luna. And number 714, Ash over Teacup.
And now taking the track are your Schoolyard Scrappers. Skating tonight for the Scrappers, number 918, Ballistic Buffalo. 1212, Bonnie Banshee. 1235, Bob Villain. 0 to 60, she's Carla Dang. 1984, Cruisin' for a Bruisin'. 724, Dolly Spartan. At 31, Felony Storm. 144, Ivy Overdose. Number 68, Juicy Kiltour. OMG, Killin' May Smalls. Number 5, She's Made in Asia. 172, Pikachu. 1976, Strike Her Down. 241, Horchata. Your co-captain, number 34, Pretty Hurt Machine. And the captain of the Schoolyard Scrappers, number 669, Nikki Badass. Helping the team on their bench tonight are their bench coach, Bobby Ross, and penalty manager, H-A-Face.
Derby fans, please rise for the national anthem. Tonight's national anthem singer is Can You Dig It? Kenya is a member of the Arizona Derby Dames and skates for the Doomsday Valkyries. This warrior princess has a pretty face and a take-no-prisoner attitude. Ask her and she'll tell you, chrome and rust and wasteland dust, that's what Valkyries are made of. When she's not jamming and scoring for her team, she's working hard bartending in downtown Phoenix and taking care of her beautiful son, Jonah.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we
All right, we are ready to get underway. Taking the jammer line first for the Runaway Brides is going to be Hollywood. And jamming first for the Schoolyard Scrappers is Dolly Spartan. We are underway in this rematch of last year's championship bout, which if you follow the league, you're probably aware the Runaway Brides came out on top of. Split pack making its way into the back straightaway now. Hollywood up towards the front, trying to get past that wall of Schoolyard Scrappers blockers. And what I, as an amateur observer of roller derby, believe is going to be the first of many defensive struggles tonight. With 27 seconds left to go in the jam, neither jammer free. There goes Hollywood now along the inside, and Hollywood's your lead jammer for the Brides.
Both jammers get out. Those packs start to try to pick up some speed.
Hollywood up to the pack along the outside, along the rail, picks up her points and calls it off.
Her team was able to open the door for her, and she went right through it.
So 3 hard-fought points on the board there for the Runaway Brides to get the scoring underway. It's going to be Felony Storm for the Schoolyard Scrappers and Milani Mangler for the Runaway Brides.
With walls like this, getting those jammers out is going to be really hard this evening. Milani Mangler able to get out on the low side pretty quickly, though.
Felony Storm up to the front of the pack, has one of her blockers up there trying to run interference, but those Runaway Brides were able to recycle around it several times. Big collision there into the back of the pack. Felony Storm knocked down again. Milani Mangler along the inside, and Milani Mangler out of the pack.
Only 30 seconds into this jam. She's got time for more.
And there goes Felony Storm out of the pack now for the Schoolyard Scrappers. Milani Mangler through the pack and completes another scoring pass and calls off the jam. Nine points on the board for the Brides during that jam. But we are now going to have a wholesale change of personnel here as we do have a power jam. It is going to be a power jam for the Schoolyard Scrappers. Had to wait there for a second. Dolly Spartan off the bench now to jam for the Schoolyard Scrappers here in this power jam early on here. Penalty called on the Brides jammer in the last jam.
Both teams have a full complement of blockers out there, so Dolly Spartan's got a long way to go to get out.
Of course, the benefit of a power jam, if you're a first-time observer of roller derby action, a power jam means that only one team has a jammer out there, so they're the only ones that can score points. And there goes Dolly Spartan now, is clear halfway through the power jam, 30 seconds to go. Dolly Spartan now out and coming around as an active scorer. Trying to find her way through the front of the pack there, guided off onto the infield again by the Brides defense. With about 5 seconds to go in the jam. Pack now trying to stay ahead of her, and the clock will expire. And Dolly Spartan was able to pick up 4 points. So 4 points in the power jam there for the Schoolyard Scrappers. And now we've got Pretty Hurt Machine for the Scrappers.
It's Milani Mangler out there for the Brides. Milani Mangler gets hit to the infield by Striker down.
And shaking
Meanwhile,
loose.
Pretty Hurt Machine's able to get out.
Pretty Hurt Machine about half a track ahead. Milani Mangler out of the pack as well. For the Brides, Pretty Hurt Machine now trying to catch up to the pack. Runs into the Brides defense, trying to get through, calls it off before Milani Mangler can get any points of her own.
Jamming for her first time tonight for the Brides, Anita Margarita coming to the line. And that's Ballistic Buffalo out there for the Schoolyard Scrappers.
2 points picked up by the Scrappers in that jam. So 12-6 Brides right now as this jam gets ready to get underway, and there we are. Anita Margarita and Ballistic Buffalo both down to the inside trying to find their way through. Now Anita Margarita thinks she has an opening along the outside, but that's quickly closed by the pivot of the Scrappers. And Ballistic Buffalo is out of the pack and is your lead jammer for the Schoolyard Scrappers. Anita Margarita shouldered off onto the infield by one of the blockers for the Scrappers. Ballistic Buffalo tries to find her way along the inside, not able to do so. Anita Margarita shakes clear of the pack for the Runaway Brides now, is going to press the issue. 22 seconds to go in the jam as Anita Margarita makes her way down the back straightaway. And that's going to do it for the jam. Ballistic Buffalo calls it off. Ballistic Buffalo picked up those 4 points.
Here comes the captain of the Brides, Ellie Mayhem, out there. That's Felony Storm on the line for the Schoolyard Scrappers. 10-12, about halfway through the first quarter. Brides got the lead by 2 points.
Ellie Mayhem found an opening there, saw an opening. You could almost see her head go up, and she found an opening to the front as your lead jammer for the Brides as the pack makes their way down the back straightaway. Felony Storm now to the inside, trying to find her way past those last 2 blockers for the Brides, and does so. And now there's Ellie Mayhem, and Ellie Mayhem picks up another point. Ellie Mayhem looking for some more now. And we'll wait for the official score here from the regulators.
Out there to jam for the first time tonight, Cryptic Callie takes the panty off and hands it to Goldie Blocks.
It looks like we had to switch out because this is going to be a power jam for the Runaway Brides. Runaway Brides now with the advantage with Goldie Blocks on the jammer line, putting 6 points on the board in that jam, stretching their lead out to 18-10 here with 7:45 to go until the end of the first quarter. And Goldie Blocks able to make her way around the outside, going through the corner, and is out and clear with 43 seconds to go in this power jam. Big collision there. Nikki Badass blocking Goldie Blocks off onto the infield. Then Nikki Badass bumped from behind and knocked to the infield herself. Goldie Blocks thought she was home free, but knocked off onto the infield there by that last blocker for the Scrappers, and gives them a second to reconvene. Just bumped off again by that same blocker on the opposite end of the track, and I'm not able to catch who that was, else I'd give him some credit. It was a great individual defense there in the front end of the power jam pack with just a couple of seconds to go in the jam. And that's going to do it. As a cheer went up from the Scrappers bench for the defense played there. Keeps the damage to 5 points for the Brides during the power jam. This is going to be Pikachu for the Schoolyard Scrappers, and that's Melanie Mangler for the Runaway Brides. Melanie Mangler able to find an opening to the front of the pack pretty quickly, and she's your lead jammer for the Brides. And now she's going to look to put some points on the board, and she's able to sneak by along the inside of the track, and she is clear on a scoring pass.
Pikachu still doing battle at the front of the pack with Ellie Mayhem there. A variety of other Brides sliding in, rotating back around, recycling in front of her.
Melanie Mangler now still doing battle there on the front end of the pack. And that'll do it for the jam. The clock expires. And before we get to the next jam, it's going to be an official timeout. So an official timeout. We'll take a second to catch our breath here, breaking the action. 10 points on the board there for the Runaway Brides in that last jam. So that pushes their score up to 33-10 with 5 minutes to go until the end of the first quarter.
Hey folks, while you're here, be sure to visit the Arizona Derby Dames merch booth. Get your favorite league and team merchandise. We got t-shirts, tank tops, hats, koozies, as well as stickers and buttons of your favorite team. That's the AZDD merch booth.
And don't forget, fans, we got lots of food options in here for you. We got a couple of snack options, such as the Arizona Derby Dames snack bar. Snack bar right up here at the end of the back straightaway. Grab a cold beverage, some chips or some candy. All proceeds go back to the league. And, of course, the minor assaults, as you can smell, are selling popcorn down there at the exit to turn number 2. Bags of fresh popcorn down there for sale by the minor assaults.
Bag of popcorn for $1. Come on, guys. Support the minor assaults. We've also got the Off the Hook Taco Truck. Off the Hook Taco Truck is a locally owned and operated taco truck serving Southern California Baja-inspired cuisine. They've got chicken and vegetarian options available as well. Visit them outside if you're hungry for something delicious.
So it looks like we're just about ready to get back to the action here. Got all the penalties sorted out, and there was a bunch of them. And the result of all that is we are going to have a big advantage for the Brides here. It's a power jam for the Runaway Brides, and there's only 2 blockers out there for the Schoolyard Scrappers. Scrappers currently have 2 blockers and their jammer seated in the penalty box. So the Brides have all the skaters out there right now, and Holly Hood doing the jamming, and Holly Hood is out and clear. This could be a big chance for the Brides to put a whole truckload of points on the board. And to the great delight of the crowd, Holly Hood executes a perfect jump in the middle of her first scoring pass. There's 15 seconds left to go in the power jam. Holly Hood now approaching the pack on her 3rd scoring attempt. And was trying to outrun that last blocker out to the rail there. And knocked into the rail hard by Nikki Badaz along the back straightaway. Holly Hood finishes the last scoring pass and calls it off. It's a 14-point power jam for the Runaway Brides, pushing their lead up to 47-10. Lightning McQueen now on the jammer line for the Runaway Brides. And for the Schoolyard Scrappers, that's Juicy Kiltour. And Juicy Kiltour is out of the pack and clear, is your lead jammer for the Scrappers. And Lightning McQueen shaken free of the pack, and she forces the issue. Points for both sides there. Scrappers get 2 points on the board and 1 point up for the Runaway Brides. We are going to have a team timeout called by the Schoolyard Scrappers. So again, we'll take a brief break in the action here. Scrappers going to take a second to talk over some of the action that occurred.
While we're doing that, remind you, Siphon Draw Apothecary features all natural, non-toxic, handcrafted skincare products made by our very own Dolly de los Muertos. Visit them at the Goldfield Ghost Town on Historic Highway 88. Siphon Draw Apothecary.
Coffer Star Coffee is a locally owned coffee shop and cafe providing hand-blended drinks and award-winning baked goods. Located on the southwest corner of 7th Avenue and Heatherbrae, just north of Indian School Road. Coffer Star Coffee.
I could use a Copper Star coffee right now. Should have brought a couple for us. Hey folks, Above and Beyond Palette Creation repurposes palettes into art. The creator of all of our signage is here in the Hall of Dames. For information on how to commission work, see Bobby Ross, the coach of the Schoolyard Scrappers. You can also find them on Facebook, Above and Beyond Palette Creations.
We are ready to get back to the action. It is going to be Anita Margarita for the Runaway Brides on the jammer line, and Dolly Spartan for the Schoolyard Scrappers.
Slow pack starting this thing off. Both jammers at the back of the pack getting bumped around, trying to find their way through.
Pack now splits in two, neatly bifurcated down the middle, and front end of the pack depositing Anita Margarita down onto the track surface and breaking free. There goes Dolly Spartan, able to unlock the front wall and make her way through. Anita Margarita now up to the outside and delivered hard, half out of the track. Everybody checks on her. She's back up and skating. Dolly Spartan has come on around now and is trying to get through the pack. And Dolly Spartan able to finish off a scoring pass, and she calls off the jam.
And that's why we stay behind the yellow line, folks.
Yes, indeed, as was just demonstrated. Please stay behind that yellow line at all times if you're not part of the bout production staff, because they're on the lookout for that sort of thing, and it really would have hurt to take a skater's helmet to the back of the head when you're not looking. Setting up now on the jammer line for the Runaway Brides is number 1, Ellie Mayhem. And for the Schoolyard Scrappers, that's number 31, Felony Storm. Pack quickly spreads out, and Ellie Mayhem able to thread her way through, and she's your lead jammer for the Brides. Felony Storm trying to cling to that inside coping, as Ellie Mayhem rockets right through the pack on a scoring pass, and will be coming around for some more here with 34 seconds to go in the jam. Felony Storm pushes away to the front of the pack and gets those last blockers called out of play, so she's able to get through as Ellie Mayhem finishes another scoring pass and calls off the jam.
Looks like we got Goldie Blocks coming to the line for the Brides. That's Nikki Badass out there for the Schoolyard Scrappers.
Brides putting another 9 points on the board there.
And just like that, she's not your jammer.
We've got
Looks like we picked up a penalty on the Schoolyard Scrappers last jam. We have a power jam for the Brides.
So it is Goldie Blocks out there all by her lonesome. And what will now most likely be the last jam of the first quarter. And there goes Goldie Blocks, able to push her way through the pack. As the clock approaches zeros for the quarter, so that does do it for the first quarter. Goldie Blocks now trying to fight her way through the pack and escorted down to the infield by that pivot for the Schoolyard Scrappers. As Nikki Badass out there wearing the pivot stripe now. Goldie Blocks finishes off a scoring pass, and we've got 16 seconds to go here in the power jam. And Goldie Blocks redirected off onto the infield. Just a couple of seconds to go here in the jam, and she goes ahead and calls it off. And that is going to take us up to the end of the first quarter. score is in. That's another 10-point jam for the Runaway Brides. So our scores, we step aside for the quarter break. Runaway Brides 67, Schoolyard Scrappers 17.
All right, folks, just been notified. We're up to $125 on that 50-50 raffle. Speaking of raffle, if you've got a green raffle ticket, get your green raffle tickets out. That's number 211541. You've won a prize. You get to pick a prize. Green raffle ticket number 211541. Come on up to the announcer stand. Get your prize.
All right, Derby fans. I see stepping out on the track a couple of our merchandise associates running around the track. If you'd like to get yourself some free Derby Dame swag, make some noise. We got one along the back straightaway and one making her way down through the first turn, and she's going to toss it over there towards the popcorn machine. And a lucky fan there in the second or third row picks up some free merchandise as well. Keep an eye out on that during quarter breaks all night long.
And if you're a young lady between the ages of 10 to 17 who loves to skate, or maybe you know somebody like that, our Minor Assaults are a nonprofit 501c3, and they're always looking for new skaters to join their team. Our coaches not only teach technique and knowledge of the sport, but they also help build leadership, teamwork, and problem-solving skills that will help out in life situations far beyond roller derby. Minor skating skills, a dedication to learn, and a positive mental attitude is all that we require. Come see what all the fun is about. Ask any Derby Dame how to get involved, or visit our website at azddinspire.org for information on donating or sponsoring our Minor Assaults. As we're getting back to the action here at the beginning of the second quarter, the Brides jammer had picked up a skating out of bounds penalty at the end of the last jam. So the Scrappers are going to be starting off this quarter with a power jam. Looks like that's Pretty Hurt Machine, your co-captain out there on the line to skate that power jam.
You can see a pretty full pack, a full pack right out there right now. So 4-on-4 blockers. Pretty Hurt Machine, though, able to fight her way to the front of the pack now, doing battle up there with those last couple of blockers. And they're out of play, which again, if a skater is more than 20 feet away from the main pack, they can no longer block. So if you get those last blockers pushed far enough away, they have to let you go on through. You see now Pretty Hurt Machine is caught up to the pack and is trying to find a way through with those Brides defenders.
She's got some help up there. Dolly Spartan is helping push people out of her way, get her jammer out. Still about 20 seconds left on this jam.
We both checked the time at the exact same second. Pretty Hurt Machine now catching up to the pack as pack now spreads out as they head into turn number 1. And she takes a hard block from somebody, just completely knocked her momentum off stride. Bumped off onto the infield, now back up, is going to try to find her way through. At front wall, the Brides united. And that'll do it for the power jam. Plenty of action going on there. Let's wait for the official score. Nine points on the board there for the Schoolyard Scrappers during the power jam. It's going to be Nikki Badass on the jammer line for the Scrappers. And for the Runaway Brides, that is Cryptic Callie.
No penalties on that last jam, so both teams are at full strength. 4 blockers each and a jammer.
And to the front of the pack, Cryptic Callie able to find a weak link in that front wall and able to get out. Cryptic Callie is clear. Nikki Badass out of the pack for the Scrappers. About a quarter track and gaining now. Cryptic Callie up to the pack and calls off the jam. Picks up 1 point. So Nikki Badass able to get out there and force the issue. Stepping up to the jammer line now with 12:45 to go before halftime is Milani Mangler for the Runaway Brides.
Scrappers picking up a couple blocker penalties. They've only got 2 blockers out there in this pack.
They've got Felony Storm out there doing the jamming.
Milani Mangler is popping out first. She's your lead jammer for the Brides.
Felony Storm almost had an opening, but that door was closed quickly by the Runaway Brides defense. Still trying to find her way through. There's Milani Mangler weaving her way in and out on a scoring pass, and she is through the pack. Felony Storm back up now on the track after being escorted down there by those Runaway Brides blockers in the back of the pack. We've got 22 seconds to go in this jam. There goes Milani Mangler completing another scoring pass. Milani Mangler now coming around again and looking for some more. And she's able to find her way through the pack and calls it off. $15 points put on the board there by Milani Mangler for the Runaway Brides. It's going to be Dolly Spartan now jamming for the Schoolyard Scrappers, and for the Brides, that's Anita Margarita.
Dolly Spartan gets out on the high side, getting around Alan I'll hate ya. She's your lead jammer now. Nina Margarita still working her way through the back of the pack, runs into Nikki Badass, some of the other Scrappers, and she's able to slowly, and makes it down to the infield.
So Anita Margarita out of the pack for the Brides and making her way around as Dolly Spartan now trying to finish a scoring pass. And goes ahead and calls off the jam, meeting up with those Scrappers defenders at the front of the pack. 4 points on the board for the Scrappers there. Brings them up to 30 so far. A little bit more than 10 minutes to go until halftime.
Clean jam there, no penalties.
Looks like we've got Militia for the Runaway Brides. And for the Schoolyard Scrappers, I believe that was Pretty Hurt Machine.
Indeed it is. Militia out there jamming for her first time tonight.
Brides have used a plethora of jammers already tonight. A lot of jammers going out there for one time, so. And there we go, both jammers out of the pack at roughly the same time. Getting out first and calling off the jam was Pretty Hurt Machine. Crowd always gets real amped up when there's a possibility of a jammer race.
Right. Here we get to see Nikki Badass and Cryptic Callie coming to the line again.
And there goes Cryptic Callie, able to get clear of the front of the pack and is your lead jammer for the Runaway Brides. Nikki Badass trying to find her way along the inside and bumped off to the infield. And a big collision there at the end of the back straightaway. A bunch of skaters taking a tumble right in front of the crowd. And that'll do it. Cryptic Callie goes ahead and calls off the jam. Looks like we are getting all right. So, with a signal from game executioner Freya Hugs, a challenge has been called. Runaway Brides are going to challenge some of the action going on there in the previous jam. We'll get all the details to you once the review is over by the regulators.
Brides are challenging an arms penalty on their jammer.
I always forget that you can read the penalty whiteboard and I can't. So when they hold it up, it's just a square, and I'm like, it probably has information on it, and that would probably be helpful.
And I can't read the paper in front of me.
Between the two of us, we are a good announcer.
That's right.
As it stands right now, 3 points on the board for the Runaway Brides, so 86-30 is the score with 8.5 minutes until halftime. We'd like to let you know about more of our league sponsors during this review. Like Lost Dutchman Tattoo, they are a tattoo shop specializing in various styles. From realism to traditional, you can even customize your own tattoo. Walk-ins are accepted. They're located at 4121 North 19th Avenue. That's the east side of 19th Avenue, just north of Indian School Road. Lost Dutchman Tattoo.
And while we're dealing with all these rules and officials and challenges, you know, our regulators are recruiting. You know, you're interested in being a part of the roller derby community, but hitting people isn't your thing? Our regulators are always looking for dedicated and eager minds to learn our rule set and help keep our ladies on the track safe. Our regulator team accepts all gender types, and there are various levels of officiating that go on during a roller derby bout. Come be a part of the action and help our league grow. Ask any skater or ref how to get involved.
And after review, the official word from the regulators on the infield, penalty upheld. So the penalty stands. And the Runaway Brides are surrendering a timeout in the process, and we'll get back to the game action here. So we'll get back to the game action with a power jam for the Schoolyard Scrappers. They will be sending a jammer to the jammer line, while the Brides will not. They'll be sending a jammer to the penalty box.
And that's Pretty Hurt Machine coming to the line for the Scrappers.
So we've got a power jam for the Schoolyard Scrappers, but they also have 2 blockers seated in the penalty box, so they've only got 2 blockers out there, while the Runaway Brides have a full complement of blockers to stop the jammer, so this is going to be quite the chess match. And Pretty Hurt Machine able to press that front wall far enough away that they were called out of play, and she's able to spring free. You saw she had her 2 blockers were holding one of the Runaway Brides in back, helping to force that action. Now the Runaway Brides all together, 4 wide across the track, united, a solid wall clad in black cloth is what I was trying to say. Pretty Hurt Machine able to find an opening and get through now. 20 seconds to go here in the Schoolyard Scrappers Power Jam. Pretty Hurt Machine using the skate around the track, giving her blockers a chance to try and help her out. And a collision, and one of the Brides blockers down. 5 seconds to go in the power jam right in front of us here in the announcer's nest, and Pretty Hurt Machine tumbles to the track. And Pretty Hurt Machine able to put 9 points on the board for the Schoolyard Scrappers during that power jam.
That's Dolly Spartan coming to the line for the Scrappers. Skate this next jam.
And just like that, there goes Dolly Spartan. Penalty called on Pretty Hurt Machine during that power jam. So power jam now for the Runaway Brides. Indeed, now they are right back on it with a power jam. And that's Hollywood for the Runaway Brides out there. So the Brides now 50 seconds to go in the power jam. Hollywood clear of the pack. And Hollywood able to maneuver her way around a sliding block there from that pivot for the Schoolyard Scrappers. .25 seconds to go here in the power jam. Hollywood gets an assist from one of her blockers and gets through the pack. And Hollywood through one more time and goes ahead and burns those last few seconds off the jam clock. .15 points on the board there for the Runaway Brides during that power jam, puts them up over 100 for the bout. And we've got Militia out there for the Runaway Brides. I believe that was Dolly Spartan for the Schoolyard Scrappers. But we'll double check as the pack comes on around in front of us here.
Militia out there working her way through the pack still. As Dolly Spartan gets to the front of the pack and starts pushing these blockers out of the way. Dolly Spartan doing battle with Novocaine at the front of the pack as the Militia is able to get out right on her tail.
So it is going to...
Neither jammer wants to give up on this one. Dolly Spartan calling it off right as she gets to the back of the pack.
I do find that when we both start to speak, we are actually both about to say the same thing.
Probably.
So with 4:45 to go until halftime, it's going to be Anita Margarita on the jammer line for the Runaway Brides. To a great cheer from the Anita Margarita cheering section. And Felony Storm for the Schoolyard Scrappers. Anita Margarita able to find a way to the front, and she's out and is your lead jammer for the Brides. Felony Storm right behind, though. So Anita Margarita now trying to get back to the pack. Felony Storm trying to duck along the inside, and Felony Storm takes over as lead jammer. Anita Margarita, big collision. Both jammers sliding down to the inside, both back up. Somebody called it off. That's what the whistle said. both teams putting 2 points on the board there. So 2 points for Anita Margarita, 2 points for Felony Storm.
Ballistic Buffalo out there for the Schoolyard Scrappers.
And for the Runaway Brides is going to be Ellie Mayhem.
Both jammers taken to the infield.
Ellie Mayhem down to the inside. I saw a blue jersey looking for one heck of a block and just wasn't quite able to connect. Ellie Mayhem out and clear as your lead jammer. Looks over her shoulder. Ballistic Buffalo is about a quarter track behind her. So Ellie Mayhem now approaching the pack and calls off the jam after passing by a downed Schoolyard Scrappers skater to get one more point on the board. Because, hey, why not, as long as you're out there.
Here comes Juicy Couture and Cryptic Cali to the line. Juicy Couture working the high side. Cryptic Cali was trying the low. Cryptic Cali just continues to push her way straight through, and she gets out first. She's your lead jammer. She's already almost back to the pack as Juicy Couture gets out. Callie gets her points and calls off the jam.
Four points on the board there for the Runaway Brides. Now setting up to jam for the Scrappers is Dolly Spartan. For the Runaway Brides is Lightning the Queen. Both jammers patiently approach the pack, and then everything springs to life. Like when a tasty beetle walks by a trapdoor spider's burrow. Just boom, action. Pack comes back together now. Both defensive walls have held so far. Halfway through this jam, neither jammer is clear. And there we go as I hear a black lead from behind me from the Eye in the Sky referee, Racy Tracy. So out of the pack is Lightning the Queen. She's your lead jammer for the Runaway Brides. And there goes your Schoolyard Scrappers jammer as well with 13 seconds to go in this jam. And Lightning the Queen picks up her points. 3 points to be exact, and calls off the jam. And in what will most likely be the last jam of the first half, we've got Hollywood for the Runaway Brides. Felony Storm for the Schoolyard Scrappers. And Hollywood able to get those Schoolyard Scrappers blockers pushed out of play. Springs her loose, and she is your lead jammer for the Brides. Felony Storm out as well as Hollywood now mid-pack already, trying to finish off a scoring pass. Able to weave her way around a blocker there for the Scrappers. And calls off the jam. So we got time for one more here before we head off to the halftime break.
And that brings out Ballistic Buffalo to skate this jam for the Schoolyard Scrappers. And that's Milani Mangler for the Brides.
Tightly bunched pack now as to the front of the pack, Ballistic Buffalo trying to find an opening, but knocked off onto the infield by that last blocker for the Runaway Brides. Able to find her way through as Milani Mangler is your lead jammer for the Brides. Ballistic Buffalo now gets an assist there and able to spin around that last blocker for the Runaway Brides. Milani Mangler finishes off a scoring pass, and that's going to do it. Calls off the jam, and that's going to do it for the first half. So We will step aside for the halftime break. Waiting for the score to come in here. It's a 4-point jam, so that's going to take your score up to Runaway Brides 119, Schoolyard Scrappers 41. And we are going to take us a 15-minute break here, and we'll be back with you with the second half of this bout and then the second half of our night overall.
Hey, folks, put your hands together. The minor assaults are out there again, giving out some free merch. Somebody needs a Derby Dames hat. Also, folks, get your green raffle tickets back out. We got 2 more prizes to give away. Green raffle ticket number 211555. Green raffle ticket 211555. And green raffle ticket 211547. Come on down. Green raffle ticket 211547 and 555.
All right, just about 30 seconds left until we are going to get started here in the second half. We wanted to take a second to remind you fans, as we're starting to get a little crowded here with the crowd for the first game starting to mingle with the crowd that's getting here for the second game. Don't forget, at all times during game action, so pretty much at all times from about 9 seconds from now until the end of the bout, make sure that you remain behind that yellow line surrounding the track. Do not stand on the other side of that yellow line. That is not only for your own safety, so you don't catch an errant skate to the face, but also to keep you out of the way of our bout production staff, our photographers, and our referees who need freedom of motion. So, but also skate to the face hurts, so we don't want that to happen either. So make sure you remain behind that yellow line at all times. Don't forget, for restrooms, skaters take priority for the indoor restrooms. We do have clean outdoor restrooms for your use. I've used them, they're clean. And finally, the last thing is, if you parked in the dispensary, if you parked in the dispensary's parking, your car's already been towed. I'm sorry. They are serious. Don't park in the dispensary's parking. So if you parked in the dispensary's parking, you are going to want to hot-foot it over there and get your car moved. Looks like we are getting ready to be underway here. I see the regulators skating into place. And we are indeed ready to get back underway. Start of the second half here. Runaway Brides 119, Schoolyard Scrappers 41. It'll be Hollywood for the Runaway Brides. And Pretty Hurt Machine for the Schoolyard Scrappers.
Pretty Hurt Machine dancing around out there, takes the high side, gets to the front of the pack, doing battle with Alan Eilach as Hollywood skates right underneath her. Two jammers out on the track right now.
Hollywood up to the pack first, tries to get past a couple of skaters, slides to her knees and calls off the jam.
A couple of the Brides blockers picking up penalties right there. So they'll be skating a little bit thinner right now as Dolly Spartan comes to the line for the Scrappers. And that's Ellie Mayhem, captain of the Brides, coming to the line here.
And they are ready to go. And Dolly Spartan quickly to the front of the pack, able to spring free as your lead jammer for the Scrappers. Ellie Mayhem right in behind her, though. So we got another jammer race getting back to the pack.
And Dolly Spartan wisely calling it off as Ellie Mayhem was coming up hot on her heels.
So setting up now, no points for either side. Jamming for the Schoolyard Scrappers is Felony Storm, and for the Runaway Brides is Anita Margarita.
Anita Margarita brought some fans with her tonight.
Yeah.
And she's first out.
To the grand satisfaction of the heavy contingent of Anita Margarita fans, she's your lead jammer for the Runaway Brides. Up to the pack now, tries to find a weak spot, gets through the wall, was trying to catch that last blocker and calls it off.
Anita Margarita right between Smalls and Hurt. Made herself a space, got through.
So 4 points for the Runaway Brides there. Schoolyard Scrappers able to pick up 1 point there on the back end of things. So they put a point on the board as well. With 13 minutes to go in the third quarter, it's 126-42. Runaway Brides on top. That is jamming for the Schoolyard Scrappers is Dolly Spartan. And it's Milani Mangler for the Runaway Brides.
A slow pack here. Both jammers trying to find a hole, trying to work their way through the pack. Picking up speed through turn two. Both jammers get to the front. Dolly Spartan is your lead jammer. Milani Mangler, they recycled in front of her, and she's going to have to get out again. She's out in turn four in front of the announcers. As Dolly Spartan comes up on the back of the pack, picking up speed.
Milani Mangler now bearing down on the pack as they come on through, and that's going to do it for the jam. .1 point on the board for the Brides there. Juicy Kill Tour on the jammer line for the Schoolyard Scrappers and Cryptic Kelly for the Runaway Brides.
Bob Villain lightning the queen, sitting in the penalty box this next jam. Both teams down a blocker. Cryptic Callie out there to jam for the Brides. She's working her way up to the front of the pack, and she just powers on through. She's your lead jammer. Juicy Kill Tour coming up and getting behind, falling behind Pretty Please and Alan I'll Hate Ya. Goldie Blocks Recycles in front of her. Hard enough getting through the pack, but having to pass people twice, that's harder.
We're about halfway through this jam on the jam clock. 25 seconds to go. Cryptic Callie now mid-pack trying to find an opening and able to get some assist from her blockers and get through the pack. Juicy Kill Tour now trying to play a little bit of jammer defense and try to hinder the way of Cryptic Callie. Looks like she was able to finish off that scoring pass. And indeed, 10 points on the board for the Brides there, so 2 scoring passes for Cryptic Callie completed. Looks like we've got Nikki Badass on the jammer line for the Schoolyard Scrappers, and it's Militia for the Runaway Brides. At 15 seconds elapsed here in the jam, and there goes Militia along the outside, now able to shake loose. Is your lead jammer for the Runaway Brides. Pack now making their way down the back straightaway, and Nikki Badass being helped off onto the infield. And Nikki Badass bumped off rudely onto the infield there by that pivot for the Brides. Militia completing a scoring pass and now coming around for some more with 12 seconds left on this jam clock. Nikki Badass out of the pack for the Scrappers. And that'll do it for that jam. Militia finishing off another scoring pass and calling it off. 9 points on the board for the Runaway Brides. So we'll set up for the next jam here. It's going to be Hollyhood for the Runaway Brides. And for the Schoolyard Scrappers is Felony Storm. And shaking clear, Hollyhood is out of the pack. Is your lead jammer for the Runaway Brides. Felony Storm out as well, about half a track behind. Hollyhood down to the inside, trying to find her way along the inside, and was bumped off onto the infield, so gets up and calls off the jam. So before the next jam, we are going to have a team timeout. Schoolyard Scrappers calling another timeout. So we'll step aside from the action here momentarily. I tell you what, I smell fish. I smell fried fish wafting in from outside. We've got the Off the Hook taco truck out there, and it smells like they are cooking up a grand amount of fish to serve everybody here between the bouts. Off the Hook taco truck, of course, is a locally owned and operated food truck serving SoCal and Baja-inspired cuisine. They have chicken and vegetarian options available as well. So visit them outside if you're hungry for something delicious.
Hey, folks, mark your calendars for our next bout. Season 14 starts next bout on March 30th. The doubleheader once again, featuring 4 of the home teams for the Derby Dames. It's going to be the Runaway Brides playing the Brutal Beauties. And the second game of the night is going to be the Bombshells versus these Scrappers. All of it right here at the Hall of Dames. Doors at 5, first whistle at 6. Also at the March 30th bout, we're having a fundraising night for our very own Minor Assaults. Going to be doing a silent auction and the debut of a punch-a-prize. A punch board with concealed prizes in every slot will be available for $20 a punch. Test your luck and win the grand prize, a 7-day Caribbean vacation. That's all at the next Derby Dames bout on March 30th.
We, of course, also have the dessert truck outside, the Cool Spot food truck, also locally owned and operated. They make their acai bowls and smoothies to nourish and refresh Arizona residents who are out enjoying the 300-plus days of sunshine we experience here in the Valley of the Sun. So a great option to get yourself something a sweet treat to eat between the bouts here this evening as we get back to the action. It's going to be Dolly Spartan for the Schoolyard Scrappers and Ellie Mayhem for the Runaway Brides. Jamming now with just over 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. And we've got both jammers out at roughly the same time. Ellie Mayhem further ahead on the track, so she's your lead jammer for the Brides. And Ellie Mayhem goes ahead and calls it off. So we will set up for the next jam with no points scored for either side there. It's going to be Pretty Hurt Machine for the Schoolyard Scrappers. And for the Runaway Brides, it's number 501, Anita Margarita. You guys know her or something? I mean...
Hurt Machine's taking that high side and skating down to the bottom into the track, and she's able to get out as your lead jammer.
Anita Margarita bumped off onto the infield by that last blocker for the Schoolyard Scrappers and then escorted to the infield again. Able to get back up and continue on her way, though. She's out of the pack and clear. Fighting her way through is Pretty Hurt Machine, finishing off a scoring pass and calls off the jam. .4 points on the board for the Schoolyard Scrappers there. They're going to send Ballistic Buffalo to the jammer line up against Milani Mangler for the Brides. Pack is slowly making their way down there into the first turn. Almost stationary now, a little bit of action springing loose. And there to the front of the pack goes your Runaway Brides jammer. That's Milani Mangler. Ballistic Buffalo fought her way to the front of the pack, but those recycling Runaway Brides defenders are right there to get in her way. Milani Mangler dumped off onto the infield. And Milani Mangler finishing off a scoring pass with 10 seconds to go on the jam clock. Ballistic Buffalo hemmed in inside and then able to make her way around those defenders and get out. Milani Mangler races in there to finish off a scoring pass and lets the clock expire on the jam.
Here comes Felony Storm for the Schoolyard Scrappers. That's Holly Hood on the line for the Runaway Brides. Felony Storm and Holly Hood try to go low. Both jammers continuing to press the attack on the low. Felony Storm's up at the high side right now, trying to get out against Pretty Please and Alan Ilacha. Both blockers, though, recycling back around in front of him, and Holly Hood gets out. She's your lead jammer.
Felony Storm able to weave her way through and get through those last two blockers for the Runaway Brides. Holly Hood completes a scoring pass. Looks around and is going to wait and then calls it off after burning a little more time off the clock. So 4 points on the board there for the Brides. It's going to be Militia for the Runaway Brides. But before we get to that, we do have a challenge. Schoolyard Scrappers have called a challenge, so they'll be challenging.
Cut penalty on Felony Storm.
Looks like we had a cut track penalty called on Felony Storm, so the Schoolyard Scrappers are appealing to the regulators to get that overturned. We'd like to let you know about some more of our league sponsors, such as Nutrition One School Lunch Program. Food is the energy that growing children need, providing healthy, great tasting, and freshly prepared whole foods to local schools valley-wide. Nutrition One School Lunch Program works closely with the Arizona Department of Education and the USDA to make sure our children are getting the nutrition they need daily to stay focused and get the best out of their school lunch. Nutrition One School Lunch Program.
Devastation is your go-to shop for everything on wheels, from the raddest of rad roller skates to the bomb.com light-up wheels, spinning on slicker than slick ball bearings. Let Devastation help you find the perfect ride and gear to help you keep you protected while cruising. Offering nearly everything skate-related, from nuts and stops to tools and bags on flashy wheels, come check out the skate ninjas that sling them unicorn boots. Visit www.devastation.com or stop by their warehouse at 2010 East University Drive in Tempe. That's Devastation.
We'd like to let you know about our March charity being supported by the Derby Dames. Shoebox Ministries is our March charity of the month. They coordinate ongoing efforts for the collection and distribution of toiletry kits for people who need but cannot afford these items. Through their distribution network, Shoebox gives kits to individuals experiencing homelessness, domestic violence victims, abused and neglected children, the working poor, and to others in need. For more information on how you can help, please visit their website at www.shoeboxministry.org.
The Arizona Derby Dames support local businesses and vendors in our area. Tonight we are hosting Fanny Pack and Axis Hemp. Stop by outside the ticket booth and check them out at our vendor village.
And it looks like the regulators have completed their review. All right, the official word from the regulators on the infield. Penalty upheld. The penalty stands. So the Schoolyard Scrappers have lost the challenge. So we will get back to the game action here momentarily as we make sure everything is all square with the penalties. And it is going to be a power jam for the Runaway Brides. Brides already have built a pretty nice lead here in the third quarter. They're at 162-46 right now. And again, a power jam, another really good chance for them to get more points on the board. So the Runaway Brides will send 4 blockers and the jammer up there. It's going to be Militia for the Runaway Brides. Schoolyard Scrappers with 4 blockers of their own. And Militia able to get clear of the pack. Takes a tumble doing so, but able to stay up on the track surface. So out and clear halfway through the power jam is Militia. Here in the Brides power jam with 20 seconds to go, Militia in the back of the pack, able to get around the first blocker, now catching up to the main part of the pack. And the Schoolyard Scrappers defense holding strong and trying to keep her pinned in. Militia pushed off down to the infield, and that's going to do it for the power jam. Good defense by the Schoolyard Scrappers. So the Runaway Brides put 3 points on the board there during the power jam, and we've got Ballistic Buffalo for the Schoolyard Scrappers and Cryptic Cali for the Runaway Brides. So a tightly bunched pack now. Ballistic Buffalo running up to the outside rail, trying to find an opening. Cryptic Cali to the front of the pack and trying to stay on the track surface, but bumped off by Nikki Badass. Around the outside goes Ballistic Buffalo, and Ballistic Buffalo is your lead jammer for the Schoolyard Scrappers. Cryptic Cali now trying to find her way through the pack, being defended down to the inside by number 1212, Bonnie Banshee.
Ballistic Buffalo making her way through the last couple of Brides blockers. Gets out of the pack. 10 seconds left on the jam.
And Cryptic Cali calls off the jam with Ballistic Buffalo getting out of the pack. Looks like we've got Pretty Hurt Machine for the Schoolyard Scrappers, and it's going to be Lightning McQueen for the Runaway Brides. And Pretty Hurt Machine found an opening along the inside and raced to the corner, able to outrun that pivot for the Brides down to the turn. Lightning McQueen out as well for the Brides. And able to weave her way through the pack. Pretty Hurt Machine able to finish a scoring pass and calls off the jam. 4 points on the board for the Scrappers.
Looks like the Bride's able to pick up 4 points as well. Here comes Dolly Spartan to the line for the Scrappers. That's Anita Margarita back out there for the Brides. Slow pack, slow jammers crawling through the box. Dolly Spartan able to make her move and start pushing that wall out of the way, and they're out of play, and she gets out. Dolly Spartan's your lead jammer.
And able to exit the pack. There goes Anita Margarita for the Brides. Third quarter has come to a close, so this is going to be the last jam of the quarter. Dolly Spartan gets back up on the track and calls off the jam. And that will, in fact, do it for the third quarter. So we will step aside for our final quarter break of this bout. A little bit of discussion here before the official score is entered.
Okay.
Got it. I'll leave an announcer in order.
You got yours, yeah. Raffle. All right, folks, the 50-50 raffle is up to $185. Grab those 50-50 raffle tickets. I see Anakin walking around selling those blue 50-50 raffle tickets. Grab one now. Get your green raffle tickets out. I've got a green raffle ticket winner right now, number 211574. Green raffle ticket, 211574. Come on, I should be hearing some hooting and hollering. 211574, you're a winner. Looks like we got a little merchandise giveaway. Carla Ding's out there doing the honors for the Miners. Put your hands together for veteran skaters helping out a friend.
Carla Dang's angle of attack on the throw a little bit higher than the Miners. And she is able to get that one up there into the back row. So lucky fan up there. All right, fans, just another couple of seconds here until the beginning of the fourth quarter. I'd like to let you know one more time as we start packing everybody in here. Don't forget, remain behind that yellow line around the track at all times during game action. So we'll be getting back to game action here literally in less than 30 seconds. So make sure that you are standing behind that yellow line unless you are part of the bout production staff, part of our photography crew, or perhaps the referees. Not only for your own safety and to keep you from catching, you know, like a skater sliding headfirst off the track and their helmet coming directly at the crown of your head. That's bad for you. So we want that to not happen, but also so that you stay out of the way of people who are actually trying to produce the bout. So behind that yellow line at all time, please. That's especially important on nights like tonight when it's crowded as we get here to the midpoint between two bouts. And the other thing we remind you of when we are crowded like it is tonight is if you parked at the dispensary, I hope you don't want your car anymore because they probably already towed it. If you parked at the dispensary, get over there and move your car, please.
Juicy Kiltour coming to the line for the Schoolyard Scrappers. That's Ellie Mayhem out there for the Brides. Juicy Kiltour, though. Juicy's able to get out, and she's your lead jammer. Ellie Mayhem doing battle with Killing May Smalls and Pretty Hurt Machine, and she gets out. She's trailing about half a track behind. Juicy Kiltour looking to score a couple points and call it off, but she is knocked to the infield by Lightning the Queen. But lead change with the jammers. Ellie Mayhem gets out, calls off the jam after scoring her points.
Setting up now for the next jam is Dolly Spartan for the Schoolyard Scrappers, and for the Runaway Brides, it's Anita Margarita. Both teams putting points on the board there in the last jam. 2 points for the Scrappers, 3 points for the Brides. Scrappers trying to hack into that lead, if anything they can at all. Pack is kind of split in two here. Anita Margarita thought she had an opening to the outside, but knocked into the rail. And Dolly Spartan is clear of the pack for the Schoolyard Scrappers, out and clear. So Dolly Spartan, the lead jammer for the Scrappers. And Dolly Spartan completes a scoring pass. Anita Margarita not yet out of the pack, still trying to do battle with that front wall of defenders for the Schoolyard Scrappers. Dolly Spartan now runs into a little defense as well with 10 seconds to go here in the jam.
Pretty pleased up there trying to break up that Scrapper wall. Trying to help get her jammer out, but it doesn't happen on this jam. Felony Storm back in the lineup. She's coming in. She's going to jam for the Scrappers now. That's a Militia for the Brides.
9 points on the board there for the Scrappers during that jam. Felony Storm now quickly to the front of the pack and able to get that last blocker for the Brides pushed out of play. So Felony Storm out and clear. Lead jammer for the Scrappers. Militia now able to dispense with that last blocker as well, and she's out of the pack herself, so she's going to force the issue here. Felony Storm with those freshly pinked locks now to the front of the pack, trying to call it off, gets knocked off balance slightly, takes the tumble, and that's going to do it for that jam. 2 points on the board there for the Schoolyard Scrappers. Your score right now, Runaway Brides 172, Schoolyard Scrappers 72. So exactly 100-point lead for the Brides at the moment. That's Ballistic Buffalo jamming for the Schoolyard Scrappers, and Hollywood for the Runaway Brides.
Ballistic Buffalo pushing her way straight to the front of the pack. A little bit of help from Nikki Badass. Gets out, she's your lead jammer. Hollywood still stuck in the back of the pack a little bit. Now she's taking on the front of the line, and she's out too. Ballistic Buffalo setting up her scoring pass here, high in the field. Taking the high side by the rail. Tied up behind Cryptic Cali and Alan I'll Hate Ya. Calls off the jam before Hollywood can score any points.
Stepping up to the jammer line now for the Runaway Brides is Milani Mangler. And for the Schoolyard Scrappers, it's Pretty Hurt Machine. Scrappers able to put 2 points on the board there in that last jam, but in this jam, Milani Mangler is now out and is the lead jammer for the Brides. So the Brides holding the advantage here. A big block there from Ellie Mayhem, and another able to get on through the pack that time. Sticking with it was Pretty Hurt Machine. So Pretty Hurt Machine out of the pack. Milani Mangler calls it off at the last second. Pretty Hurt Machine fighting her way through a pretty massive block and able to force the issue there. Brides put 2 points on the board. We've got Nikki Badass for the Schoolyard Scrappers and Hollywood for the Runaway Brides. Hollywood saunters in front now up to the jammer line. As we approach 10 minutes to go in regulation. Tightly bunched pack now. Both jammers still trying to get free. And both jammers down to the inside. They thought they were out and clear, but both of them bumped off onto the infield at the same time. Hollywood now along the inside and is waiting for the pack to come around and catch her. Nikki Badass able to get out and clear with 20 seconds to go in the jam is your lead jammer for the Schoolyard Scrappers. Hollywood finally able to get back on the track behind those blockers that knocked her off onto the infield. Nikki Badass with some fancy footwork navigates her way through the pack on a scoring pass. And that'll do it for the jam. Five points on the board for the Scrappers there. And we've got Juicy Kiltour on the jammer line for the Scrappers and Ellie Mayhem for the Brides.
Juicy knocks Ellie to the infield. Little defensive jamming there. But they're still neck and neck with each other, trying to get out of this pack.
Trying to find her way through. And there goes Ellie Mayhem, able to find an opening along the inside. And Ellie Mayhem is out and clear and is your lead jammer for the Runaway Brides. Now Juicy Kiltour able to get around that pivot for the Brides, and she's out as well. So Ellie Mayhem's going to get a crack at this. One scoring pass here. And Ellie Mayhem weaving through, picks up her points, calls it off. Four points on the board for the Runaway Brides, and the Brides are going to send Cryptic Callie to the jammer line up against
Pikachu.
Pikachu.
Couple of jammers right now came out of the minor assaults. Both of these ladies skated with our juniors program here, and now they're up doing battle on the big league teams.
Pack makes their way out of the corner and into the straightaway. Cryptic Callie was just about clear but took a tumble. Pikachu now up to the front of the pack and able to get by a sliding block by Al Annihilate, and Pikachu gets by her former coach on the minor assaults and is clear. Pikachu now up to the pack, trying to find her way through. Out of the front of the pack goes Cryptic Callie, so she's clear of the pack as well with 20 seconds to go in the jam. Pikachu has scored it off onto the infield now, back up mid-pack, goes ahead and calls off the jam. Pikachu puts 3 points on the board for the Scrappers. It's going to be Lightning the Queen for the Runaway Brides, and for the Schoolyard Scrappers, it's Felony Storm.
Felony Storm able to push those Bride blockers out of the way and get out. She's your lead jammer.
Lightning the Queen now finds an opening, able to escape the turn along the outside, and she is clear of the pack as well. Felony Storm trying to complete a scoring pass, goes ahead and calls off the jam, was trying to pick up that last point. So with 6 minutes to go in regulation, the score is roughly staying in the same kind of range as it has for most of the quarter. Points for both sides there. 3 for the Scrappers, 1 for the Brides. It's going to be Dolly Spartan for the Scrappers. For the Runaway Brides, it's Anita Margarita.
As the pack picks up speeds, both jammers are up trying to fight along the rail. Dolly Spartan's able to get out in turn 2. Anita Margarita tries to follow her through that same hole and gets taken to the rail by Nikki Badass. Tied up behind Carla Dang and Bob Villan now.
We are halfway through this jam clock. Anita Margarita is still doing battle there at the front end of the pack.
Dolly Spartan able to break through. Al Annihilate and Holly Hood. She's out, coming around for another scoring pass.
Got those defenders for the Schoolyard Scrappers united there at the front of the pack. Dolly Spartan comes flying in and crashes into the back of Anita Margarita there. Anita Margarita still not clear. Dolly Spartan gets out, and that's going to do it for the jam. Nine points on the board there for the Schoolyard Scrappers. Under 5 minutes to go here in regulation. It's going to be a power jam for the Runaway Brides. Penalty there on Dolly Spartan.
Looks like Dolly Spartan picked up a back block.
Yeah, that would have been the collision into the back of Anita Margarita at the very end there.
Over there in turn 1, yeah.
Yeah. So Militia to the jammer line now for the Runaway Brides. 4.5 minutes to go here in regulation.
Militia, also somebody bringing a lot of fans tonight.
Militia now up at the front of the pack and trying to find her way through. Getting an escort there. Looks like Novocaine quickly to the front of the pack. Novocaine calling out instructions and having her get on through. As a good pivot does. Directing traffic at the front of the pack. Halfway through the power jam here. Militia now coming around on her first scoring attempt. Now the pack picking up speed as they head down the back straightaway. 5 seconds to go here in the power jam. Militia colliding at the front of the pack with Nikki Badaz. And that's going to do it for the jam clock. Before we get to the next jam, we are going to have a timeout of some fashion. It is a timeout called by the Runaway Brides. So a team timeout by the Runaway Brides here. We'll take a break with 3:15 to go here in regulation. Brides up by a score of 183-94.
Take another moment to tell you about the Nutrition One school lunch program. Food is the energy that growing children need, providing healthy, great tasting and freshly prepared whole foods to local schools valley-wide. Nutrition One school lunch program works closely with the Arizona Department of Education and the USDA to make sure our children are getting the nutrition they need daily to stay focused and get the best out of their school lunch. That's Nutrition One school lunch program.
Siphon Draw Apothecary Shop features all natural, non-toxic, handcrafted skincare products made by our very own Dolly de los Muertos. If anybody wants to come up here and test it out, I'm wearing their lavender deodorant today, so you are more than welcome to come up here and smell my armpit. Visit them at the Goldfield Ghost Town on historic Highway 88.
Also, we're going to tell you about Plague Fitness, one of our league sponsors. Plague Fitness provides those affected by fitness, roller derby, and healthy living with clothing for that contagious lifestyle. Visit their website at www.plaguefitness.com. So back to the action here. We've got Holly Hood coming to the line for the Runaway Brides. And that's Ballistic Buffalo out there for the Schoolyard Scrappers. Scrappers looking to break the century mark here.
Holly Hood quickly to the angle of the turn and is out and clear, and is your lead jammer for the Runaway Brides. As we prepare to dip beneath 3 minutes to go here in regulation, Ballistic Buffalo able to get to the front of the pack. And Ballistic Buffalo out and clear. Holly Hood finishes a scoring pass. It's content to let some time run off the clock here. Does so. 4 points on the board there for Holly Hood and the Runaway Brides. Coming to the jammer line for the Schoolyard Scrappers is number 31, Felony Storm. For the Runaway Brides, it's Milani Mangler. A lot of action there going on early. Felony Storm stumbled approaching the pack and then took one heck of a block down to the infield, but right back up into the front of the pack she goes. Gets some help from one of her blockers, bumped off onto the infield again, though, by that last Brides blocker. Neither jammer clear, and there goes Felony Storm, and right behind her, Milani Mangler, so they're both out. Felony Storm goes ahead and calls off the jam. So no points for either side. And it's going to be Dolly Spartan. Dolly Spartan is going to be jamming for the Schoolyard Scrappers. And the Runaway Brides have sent Luxbreaker to the line, number 113.
Luxbreaker's first time jamming out there tonight.
Indeed. And with that shout from the crowd, there goes Dolly Spartan out and clear of the pack. Your lead jammer for the Schoolyard Scrappers. Luxbreaker still pinned in along the back of the pack, trying to find her way clear. Down along the inside and escorted off onto the infield again by that wall of Schoolyard Scrappers blockers. Dolly Spartan through the pack on a scoring pass with 15 seconds to go here in the jam clock. Dolly Spartan coming around for some more. And Dolly Spartan, big collision, tumbles into Novocaine, and they both go all the way down to the infield. Dolly Spartan now back up on the track as the clock expires. So 9 points on the board for the Schoolyard Scrappers, pushes them up over 100 for the bout. But it is going to be a power jam for the Runaway Brides here. And what will be the last jam of regulation is going to take us down to quadruple zeros on the game clock, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with penalties, see if there are any penalty jams after this jam. Ellie Mayhem is going to be up there doing the power jam for the Brides here. And what is essentially going to amount to a victory lap for the Runaway Brides. Ellie Mayhem waiting for an opening, now up to the outside, trying to find her way through the outside in the turn. Bumped off onto the infield by those Schoolyard Scrappers blockers. Now trying again, trying to find a soft spot in the defense. Does so, gets through, and calls it off.
Ellie Mayhem had to get out of the pack before she could call it off. Otherwise, she'd be skating around the whole minute.
So, waiting for the penalties to be reviewed. Don't forget, fans, any penalties called on the team that's ahead and none called on the team that's behind, there are bonus jams to be had, but that is not the case here. With the signal from head referee Lollipop, that is going to do it for the game. So, in a possible preview of one of our playoff matchups here for the Derby Dames, victorious this evening with a final score of 187 to 103, your Runaway Brides. Low scoring affair, but the Brides able to stay in front throughout the second half. And now let's have a round of applause for the Schoolyard Scrappers out there. Fans on coming down trackside to let them know they appreciate them as well. Once again, both of these teams will indeed, both of these teams will be skating again at our next bout, which is later this month on Saturday, March 30th. So these teams each have one more bout before the playoffs begin on the third weekend of April. We have another bout here this evening, of course. That'll be getting underway with team intros at 8:20. Team intros, 8:20 p.m. for our second bout of the evening, the final bout of the season for both the Coffin Draggers and the Doomsday Valkyries.
Okay.
So, in 35 minutes, we will begin team intros for our second bout of the evening.
All right, folks, get those raffle tickets out. I got green raffle tickets here. Green raffle ticket number 211. Green raffle ticket number 211684. Green raffle ticket 211684. Come on down. Also, the 50-50 raffle is now over $230.
Oh, there it is. There we go. Hey, everybody. Really quick before our next teams warm up, we wanted to give a special thank you to somebody who does an awful lot for our league. And, she gives a lot of things and a lot of people a lot of kudos all the time, but she doesn't take any of the anything for herself. She is one of the most selfless people I have ever met in my entire life, and this league would not be this league without her at all. So, carbon monoxide, we would like to give you something for everything that you have done to really drive MFT to what it is and how important it is for this league. You are an amazing, beautiful person, and we love you very much.